No, John, it's a live broadcast, not actually live.
We're live.
Really?
Yes, we are really live.
Oh my god. It worked. It's alive.
No, we're not raising up someone from the dead and shocking them.
Oh.
We're going live as in going live on YouTube.
Oh.
So,
Well, that's like kind of cool, I guess.
kind of cool.
But you know, there is an app raising the dead.
Yeah, good point. So, hi, you guys. I'm hoping you guys are able to watch, and I do not know. I'm going to share this stream to everybody who is on Facebook.
What do you say, you guys?
Girls, guys, and
hey, you ladies.
no, I wouldn't have. Oh God, really? Did it? Oh, never mind. Ah, for God's sakes! Come on. Stop. Okay, there you go. Okay, my phone is acting up.
And how does that make you feel?
How do you?
I'm being a therapist right now.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, because I'm sitting in the wrong.
You're laying back. I need a clipboard though.
Yes, which that could
How
be.
does that make you feel?
Very sad that no one's watching.
I'm sensing issues in your childhood, perhaps around feeling inadequate towards your mother.
Really? Not personal things. I don't want to talk about personal things on this.
Okay.
Because this is my...
Alright, I'll change the subject. So how's your sex life?
null and void.
Ditto. That must be why we're such close friends. We got nothing better to do.
So, advocacy.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a bug.
Cool.
Yay, I caught a bug in my finger.
Mr. Miyagi did, huh?
Yeah, like...
Right between two chopsticks.
Yes. Okay. So, questions.
Yeah. What is the square root of 532?
Not that good, kind of.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Do you know what self-advocacy is? Ooh, I stumped him.
So, you can do this as well, John.
Okay, that's true. You got me.
1 second. Let me turn around the camera. Be professional.
Okay.
Do you want to sit up or?
Yeah, sit up.
Yeah, be more professional about this. And 1, 2, 3, turn around camera, and there you go.
Hi, my name's John.
Well, it's trying to focus.
Really?
Yeah, now it's focused.
It's like beer goggle look right now?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, now it's focused.
Hi, my name's John. Today we're going to talk about that itch you can't scratch in public.
Really? Really? Advocacy.
Advocacy, right. So, well, for me, I've been involved for quite a few years now with advocacy, specifically disability rights. And as a movement, it's really important because, I don't know, I kind of think that when laws are being made, when decisions are being made, so often they're being made for people with disabilities instead of with them. And, you know, there's a lot of important things. You know, I see self-advocacy and disability rights as like the next big civil rights issue of our time, you know? I mean, we want equal rights for all people, whether you're African-American, Asian, tall, short, gay, straight, and disability comes into play there. And I feel that, I don't know, when you're a more vulnerable population at times, people feel they can just take advantage of that and often look at a budget in the state or in the federal government as we're just numbers on a page. You know, for me, I'm truly humbled by the fact that I receive Social Security and Medicaid to help me live my life, because I had 4 brain surgeries when I was younger, as you know, Jose.
Right.
And I was 3, 5, 8, and 10, and I have a resulting brain injury. So it's unseen, But without the assistance that I get from an aide who comes from 10 to 2 every day, I kind of would just be sitting around at home without initiating anything with my frontal lobe issues.
And what are you doing about that?
Well, so I try to keep a lot of alarms on my iPad, and my direct support provider, my aide, assists me in keeping track of medical appointments and trips to Concord, where I have a lot of my advocacy groups that I'm a part of. So, and it's important to me because I feel in a way kind of blessed. Like, you know, yes, I had 4 brain surgeries, but I still have my voice. And I've met with people who, they are considered nonverbal, but that does not mean they don't have a voice. They have a story to tell. They have something, that deep yearning inside to get their story out to people, to tell people, hey, I may not be able to speak, but this is what I want in my life. I want to have a job. I want to have a girlfriend. I want to have the same life as everyone else because I have a right to the same life as anybody else. You know, just because I'm disabled doesn't mean I should be denied that. There just needs to be a few modifications made in order to bring me into the system, you know? And I feel like, because I feel so blessed to have my voice, I speak on behalf of them. I speak on behalf of my friends who use wheelchairs, which is like their freedom. They hate being called wheelchair bound, by the way. People of the Ethernet never say wheelchair bound. I have a friend, Kathy. She says, I'm not bound to this thing. This is like my freedom, man. You know, like I love this wheelchair. And then she like proceeds to nearly run my ass over at 10 miles an hour. No, I'm just kidding. I made that part up.
Yeah,
But
she
totally,
does.
She totally could.
She could.
She could. Jose met her.
Yeah.
He knows.
I know all too well.
No, she's a total badass, which is really cool.
If you say something that, like, what happened in your life, she would go to, the area agency and, talk to them herself if she has to.
We're in a unique position, living up here in New Hampshire because we're the first state in the union to close their institutions. And there's still states out there that just think, oh, your child's disabled, you need to just give them up and throw them in this institution. But it's like a factory of humanity. Like, they just, I don't know, like when the Laconia State School was open in New Hampshire, they called it a school, but there was no education happening. They would literally file people into this empty white-walled room where they would just be rocking back and forth or gibbering to themselves because there's nothing to do. And it took a few brave parents to really start saying, you know, we need to get some books for over there. You know, we need to, let's bring some games too. And then, you know, one of them saw how there were no curtains. So there was someone in restraints so that they wouldn't hurt themselves, but they were laying under a window getting sunburn. And they were like, let's get some curtains. And finally, it took a brave person. Frida Smith was one of these brave individuals, a mother of a child in the institution who didn't want her child there, but when she got sick, they just took her kid. Like, how does that happen? They just forced her kid into the institution. And she wanted her out, and so she sued the state. She said, this isn't a good system. This doesn't work for my child. You know, it's killing her spirit, and she has a right to live in the community and live a full life, just like anyone else. And so that fight happened, and we succeeded, and now we're getting community-based supports. Like, this is my own apartment, you know? Like, I pay the rent here. I have a job. I created my community center in my local community, Spark Community Center, and kind of proud of that. Like, even though I have a brain injury, I was able to meet with the right people to, you know, make my dream a reality.
And what is Spark all about to you?
Well, for me, I think so often people look at individuals with disabilities and say, well, let's just treat the disability and let's treat getting them into work and stuff. But what about, like, their social health? And I say social health because if you were completely deprived of socialization and, you know, being able to get out into the community and be with other people, that would be a sad life to not have any way to reach out to others, to not have kind of a support network and a group of friends that you can rely on. I would talk to a lot of people in my local advocacy group. I'd say, what did you do today? And they'd say, well, I went for a walk in Walmart, and I'd kind of do a double take. Sorry, Walmart. No offense, but I mean, you're Walmart.
No. Or go up into the airport and
no, yeah, they just kind of sit at the airport, or they'd say, "Oh, I went to Books A Million today," and I'd be like, "Oh, you like to read?" They're like, "No, I can't read." I'm like, well, were you sitting at a Books a Million? They're like, well, the chairs are comfortable and they have good coffee. And basically, I found out that like they didn't have to buy anything at Walmart. They couldn't read at Books a Million. They weren't buying anything. They were basically drifting aimlessly through the plazas. And we don't live like totally rural in New Hampshire, but this is kind of sub-rural, kind of suburban New Hampshire, and that was all they had to do. That was free. That was available to them. Their direct support providers that work with them, they were running out of ideas of where to take them. I mean, sure, it'd be cool to go bowling every day, but that costs money. Or maybe in the summer, like, let's go mini golfing, but it also costs money. So they would just kind of be wandering aimlessly. And I felt like that was wasted potential, because I see all of my friends who have disabilities, like I have a disability, I see them not for their disability, but for their potential and the amazing gifts and talents that they have. So yeah, okay, maybe they can't get a 9 to 5 job, at some office, but they could be a spectacular chef or baker. So let's help them create their own, muffin company. They can be called the Muffin Man and go to the farmers markets and sell their wares. Or maybe they're an amazing gardener, in which case they can, I know one girl in New Hampshire, Jillian, who created the wild bean and like grows her own plants and now makes like organic plant products like soaps, and it's like amazing what she does. And so there's potential for creating your own business. Like me, I love to do art. I love cartooning. One day I'd love for like my art to like bring in money, maybe post some online if I ever remember to do that. Brain injury. But I mean, everyone has extraordinary potential if only given the chance to shine. And that's why I created Spark, because I feel that everybody has a spark worth sharing. And, when they go to the center, they have the whole community to embrace them. And it's not a secluded place. It's a place that is open to the whole community. So we have college students from Dartmouth, from the town over. We have seniors. We have families and their children. And the one thing that I didn't really factor into it is what a family it would feel like going into work as community outreach coordinator. Now that I've founded the place, like, it's been 3 years, but going into work feels so surreal, because I'm like, wow, like everybody is family here. Like if anyone had a problem, like 4 or 5 people would jump up to say, how can we help? And that's so important, because that's what community is, how close knit we should be. So that's why I'm kind of proud of it, and love going there. Tomorrow, Sparksgiving. We're like the one group of lucky people who get to have Thanksgiving twice a year. But actually, we started it because some people, they don't, some of the participants don't have family to go to have Thanksgiving with.
Which is very sad.
It is sad, but we've kind of become a family, and so we have a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner together and celebrate together the holidays. I love the holiday season at Spark. We're going to have our holiday party next month in December 15th, I think. And
what kind of activities do you do at Spark?
I mean, it runs the gambit. The cool thing about Spark is it's a huge space. We have these big, like, almost 20-foot tall vaulted ceilings. In one corner, we have our computer lab, so you can have free access to the internet. In another area, kind of against the flat of the wall, looking out at the parking lot in the back field that we have, there's great arts and craft supplies, and people can draw and take part in art classes. We have our kitchen. It's a simple kitchen, but we have cooking classes once a week, and that's always a lot of fun. And then in the summers, we have gardening classes. From time to time, I've initiated different things. Like we did a music class for a little while, the music jam with the Yali Fellows from Africa. That was so cool. We were like jamming out to music. And we didn't even have a lot of instruments because we're kind of low budget right now. We don't have a ton of money. So I brought out like some ukuleles because we'd gotten a grant for the ukuleles when we had our ukulele instructor coming. I brought them out. I brought some like plastic maraca rattles out. We had the djembe drum, and then I went into the kitchen and stole a couple pots, pans, and spoons. And we were banging on pots and pans, but it felt so cool. It was like, really neat. And my friend Iram from Ghana was like, okay, you with the rattles, I want you to go cha 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 cha. And then he'd go up to me and be like, okay, with the pot, I want you to go ting 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 ting. And then he got on the drums and just started going away. And for 10 minutes, we were playing this beautiful music. And when we stopped, I was like, wow, that was awesome. I was like, what was that? He's like, that's the music that you hear the guards play when you come to the capital of Ghana. And I was like, dude, our guards just have sniper rifles. That's yours sound way cooler, you know? So yeah, it was cool. Great cultural exchanges like that. Like we've had for Friday Fun Nights, we have events beyond just meals. So we have our free community dinner. Like we ask for $5 donation, but we don't turn people away. And we've had VINS, the Vermont Institute of Natural Science, come with a live hawk and birds into the center to show people and talk about the wildlife that they help preserve. We've had the Montshire Museum come with little scribble bots with like crayons, and they like jolt around and scribble on the paper. It's been cool. We even had that one historical society woman come and talk about local Native American tribes, local to the Upper Valley in Vermont and New Hampshire.
What kind of outreach do you do for advocacy? Or what are you going to be doing
like
in
what
advocacy?
are my plans for advocacy?
Yeah.
Well, we have my local advocacy meeting, SOAR, which is Speaking Out About Rights. They meet every other week at Spark. We're trying to get more membership. It's hard to get people to really sign on to an hour-long board meeting, but it's more than just like a meeting, because it's a chance for friends to come together and discuss issues that they're facing and see what can we do to change that. And I think they really want to do a safety training where we can get the local fire department and PD involved and do some demonstrations. So that's in the works. As far as like the statewide group that I'm a part of, People First in New Hampshire, I'm president of that group currently. I'm serving my 6th and final year as president there because, yeah, it's been a wild ride. Like the group kind of had just been reeling from losing a long-time advisor. And when I would ask, they'd say, "Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this?" I'd be like, "Okay, well, I'm new to the group. How did you do that?" They're like, "Oh, well, our advisor did that." And I'd be like, "Okay, well, that's why we're not doing it, because we gotta rebuild." And so we have a great mission statement and vision statement. I created a new logo because you know me with the art. I love to design new things, and they're really coming along. I'm so proud of them and proud of us for how far we've come, and we need to do some funding, and we also need to do some outreach, like you said. There's like 13 disability rights groups within the state of New Hampshire, right? But only 3 or 4 actually show up at the statewide meeting, which doesn't really make us a statewide organization. So we need to start. I wish I had the money to just get like a tour bus, and just go to all these groups and find out, what are you guys doing? Are you actively involved in advocacy, or is it more of a social group? Like, how can we help? And really try to get some grant money together to help them with transportation so they can meet locally in Concord once a month. We're meeting this Saturday in Concord, which will be good, and planning out our annual meeting, which will be taking place at a hotel and everything, because people want to do that instead of our holiday party, save up and go to the hotel, so that'll be fun. We talk about a lot of amazing issues, though, and it's a good group of people. We have liaisons and support people from the Disability Rights Center. The Institute on Disability sometimes drops in to help out. We have Jan Scobie from the Bureau and David Willett from the Council on Developmental Disabilities. Julie Freeman Wolpert is from the DRC, Disability Rights Center. So, and Kathy Bates, the esteemed Kathy Bates, she's been in advocacy for years, more than I have, and
she's
really
awesome,
really powerful. I love when she says, "I could change the world if only I can get out of bed." Because for her, like, living with cerebral palsy, that's all she needs is someone to help her get out of bed, get dressed, get in the shower, and then she can go on with her day. She's an amazing teacher. She's an educator, both in the classroom and in articles that she's written for local publications, and is an inspiration to me for why I got involved. But I think that people need to know that advocacy, self-advocacy, is having the courage to not only just speak up for ourselves and what we need, but to speak out for our friends as well. I don't use a wheelchair, but at the drop of a hat, I will go to a new coffee shop that's refusing to put in a ramp, and they're like rebuilding the shop. So it's like, why would you refuse? And I would go there to be set against that and protest and say, look, you need to put a ramp in. According to Americans with Disabilities Act, like, people have a right to have access to their city.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's so many issues, and just today at the self advocacy leadership team that I'm a part of, SALT, we talked about a ton of bills coming up for 2018 that are actually good bills. So every now and then you have people trying to walk back the progress we've made, but these look like ones that are trying to further the progress that needs to be made, like providing an opportunity to. They want to set up a commission to talk about increased access and opportunity for people in high schools and schools to access their sports teams.
Hmm.
And David Willett from the council, a very close friend of mine, was talking about um, how he knew of a young man who joined a football team with his high school
Wow.
and was in a wheelchair. You know, that's how he got around, as a motorized wheelchair. But he was involved in some of the plays. They would throw him the ball. Like, people at first were like, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't try to tackle him," but he was fast, and pretty soon they're like, "We gotta get this guy." You know, like, so I think any opportunity for unified sports that involve people of all abilities is important, because you don't want to have segregated programs where, like, "Oh, you're disabled, you go on that team." Like, why not have people with disabilities on the regular, high school teams? I think that's awesome.
What achievements have the disability rights uh recently have made?
One of the big things that happened this past year in New Hampshire is they made it illegal for people to be given sub minimum wage. And because of that, that takes out of effect sheltered workshops, which for the longest time after the institutions were closed, people thought, oh, well, let's do these sheltered workshops and we'll give people like $1 an hour to just screw these screws into these bolts and then put them in a pile. Or we'll give them $1 an hour just to count these straws into stacks of 50 and put a rubber band around them. It was like menial, pointless work, like digging a hole and then filling it again, that didn't really result in any real sense of accomplishment. It was just like pity money and low income, like super sub minimum wage income at that. So passing that bill was a huge success, and I remember talking to some allies in Vermont, Maine, and New York and Rhode Island, who are all part of the Northeast Advocates Together, NEAT. And we have phone calls every month from time to time, and they were like, "Dude, how did you guys do it in New Hampshire?" And my advocacy group wasn't a part of it, but there were many advocates who spoke up and were a part of that process. And now we're one of the first states in the union to make that no longer possible, to just pay people with disabilities sub minimum wage.
That's good.
They have a fair shot at a decent paying wage like everybody else now.
Oops.
And it kind of puts the idea of any sheltered workshops out of business, which is good. So, I mean, there's so many accomplishments that we have. Um, I think for our group, the biggest accomplishment is just picking ourselves up by our bootstraps when we got a big budget cut and when we lost the advisor the group had had for over 20 years, and really saying, okay, let's start over. Let's rebuild the foundation and come back stronger than ever. And I think we really have. And it's a growing process for everybody. I mean, nobody knows how to be the perfect board member or disability rights advocate. And I think one of the things that's so richly diverse about advocacy is, for some people, I mean, well, advocacy is a journey. So for some people, that journey is they've literally just got out of a home where they were forced to eat oatmeal every day. So for them, advocacy is, no, I want eggs for breakfast. And that's huge, because they've been told, you're eating this, so suck it up. So that's big. For other people, they're at a stage in their journey where they're like literally about to chain themselves in front of the State House until funding is restored for services that are needed for us to help live our lives in the communities. And the fact that that is taxpayer money is not lost on us. We're humbled by that. But at the same time, to take the money that supports us to live in the community and live independently, if I lost my Medicaid funding, for example, suddenly I wouldn't be able to pay for my direct support provider, my aide that comes in, and he would have to leave and find employment elsewhere. And then I would most likely be dropping the ball on a lot of tasks, like just washing the dishes and doing the
Minor
laundry and
things.
taking care of the cat and just regular chores that most people take for granted and are able to do no problem. For me, I have a hard time initiating. So it would probably become enough of a health concern that I'd have to move back in with my mom at the age of 32. And then I'd lose my apartment. I might not be able to get to work any longer, so I'd lose my job as community outreach coordinator. And then how is that of any service to the state of New Hampshire if I'm just a live-in at my mom's house? Whereas now I'm a taxpayer. I pay taxes.
Right.
That's awesome. I'm proud of that. You know, I get a paycheck. It shows where taxes have went. I'm like, sweet. You know, I'm giving back. So we believe in paying it forward. If we get any assistance of any kind, we do our darndest to really pay back the community at large by staying active and doing the best that we can to play our role.
That's good.
Yeah,
So,
and that's kind of advocacy. That's disability rights. It's a amazing movement. It's been around for years. There's still states that have institutions that just kind of close people away from society, and you know, I'm sure that seemed like the convenient thing to do at the time, but you know, I've seen interactions with children in the classroom with peers of theirs that have disabilities, and those children without disabilities have grown from that. They become more caring and understanding uh, individuals and members of society. It just, I don't know, it just feels like they really, you know, it's important to have inclusive education and really stress upon younger children that, you know, disability doesn't mean that someone should be ignored. It just means they have a few hurdles to jump and they'll get there. They just need the help, you know?
well, that is all that we have for today.
Cool.
We will. I'm going to turn this back around. We will do some more of this. If this gets enough views, I don't know.
Next week's topic: where do those gym socks go that when they go missing?
Nah.
Did the boogeyman take them, or is your cat hiding them in some den of evil?
Okay. So that's it for today. We will figure something out for next week, or whenever we find out what.
Yeah, we'll get around to it.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great night, you guys. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening.
Yes. Are you sure you want to stop the streaming? Yes.